One of the biggest surprises at the box office in recent years became one of the most memeable films as well, M3GAN, the AI doll who becomes sentient. Well, she is back with a bit of a genre switch this time around. Let's talk about M3GAN 2.0. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for M3GAN 2.0. This is in theaters now as of this recording, and whereas the first film was a straight-ahead horror movie, you know, the classic killer doll type scenario, this one is more of a sci-fi action flick, which is an interesting choice. We'll talk about how that helps and hurts the film as we continue here. But first, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a subscriber already for Dan Reviews It, thank you so much for that. I love it when you guys return and check out my stuff. But if you're not, please consider subscribing and click that notification bell. You can also like this video, comment below. All that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. And I do try to post just about every day, so always a lot going on here on the channel. All right, so this is directed by the same gentleman that did the first one, Gerald Johnstone. That was actually only his second feature. This is his third. And he did not have a writing credit on the first one, but he wrote the screenplay for this one, and he has a story by credit with his writing partner, Akila Cooper. Yeah, otherwise, this is really, you know, something with his thumbprint on it. You know, the first one, yeah, he directed, but here he directs and writes. And so many people returning from that original cast. We have Allison Williams back as Gemma, who is a roboticist. And here she is, you know, a couple of years past. She did some jail time. They catch us up pretty quickly in the intro. In fact, the buddy I went with didn't even see the first one. I kind of caught him up a little bit, but he said he wasn't confused about anything. You know, they catch you up pretty well. But there's like a therapist scene with the niece of Gemma, who is played again by Violet McGraw here, Katie, and she's talking to a therapist essentially about you know, the last couple of years and Gemma going to prison and all of that. And it's a nice way to kind of catch the audience up, not only if you never saw the first one, but to catch us up on, okay, what's been going on since the events of the first film. You know, kind of a clever way to do that, you know, rather than have it unfolding through the action or narration. You know, you just have her in like a minute and a half kind of explain to the therapist, oh yeah, this is how I've been feeling, and this is what's been going on, or whatever. So all right, that's fine. I don't know, I guess there's a couple of Gemma's co-workers returning from that first movie as well. Brian Jordan Alvarez, I think, was in the first one. But you have some new people to the cast as well, including Aristotle Atari, who's a former SNL actor, and Jermaine Clement, I don't think was in the first movie either. He plays a corrupt tech billionaire whose company has made all of these breakthroughs, and you know, is sort of the stand-in for like an Elon Musk or something like that, in terms of you know, the AI tech, you know, wizard or whatever, that's evil. And then returning as the voice of M3GAN is Amy Donald, I'm sorry, sort of portrays the live action version of Gemma, because it's not, there's not a complete CGI mock-up of the character. It's you know, sort of in post they CGI like some of the movements and stuff, but there is a real person sort of doing the character. And then the voice of M3GAN is Jenna Davis, returning as well. So in this one we have, like I said, you know, this tech billionaire who is evil and has this robot that he wants to basically use to kind of, you know, take over the world through AI and through his tech. And so M3GAN is rebuilt in this one. We learn sort of the fate of her from that first movie, and she's rebuilt here to help Gemma and company combat this humanoid military robot, which also uses M3GAN's technology. So it's sort of robot on robot. So this is a departure, let's just say it, you know, from that first movie. I said this was a genre switch. It sure is. You know, I think people coming into this expecting another sort of, you know, horror slasher type film like the first one, I don't know if they're going to be a little disappointed or not. But I will admit, I give Johnstone credit for actually sort of taking a left turn with this movie. I think it would have been easy for him to just do a complete, redo of that first movie, as a lot of sequels are, especially horror sequels. Okay, well, this is what worked in the first one. Let's just, keep it going. I mean, it's the rule of all sequels, really, but, in horror specifically, I think it's a lot of the same for, many ways. But, this leap from genres is like a series that's a bit long in the tooth that wants to kind of shake things up a little bit. Like, take Fast and the Furious. The first, like, three movies or so were really about the car racing, and then in the eighth and ninth and 10th they're going to space, and they've become kind of superheroes. And this is a similar genre switch, but from one movie to the second movie, which is pretty crazy. So I will give Jon Stone credit for taking a swing with something a little bit different. The problem is, objectively, this movie is just not good. There are so many plot holes within, that I won't really go into here because of spoilers, but just at a glance, some of the basic elements of this movie are just filled with plot holes. Then you've got this CIA agent who, let me see if I can find his name here. Okay, I don't know. Tim Sharp, is that him maybe? Well, anyway, he's like a stand-in for Gary Cole. Like, 15, 20 years ago, Gary Cole would have played this person. He's got the mustache. He's sort of no nonsense, but he's also a little bit bumbling. And so therein lies sort of the continuation in theme from the first one, is this sort of humor, this silliness that M3GAN 1 had, that I think helped, it become such a success because it was memeable with the dance and everything. And I will give Jon Stone that he found a place for M3GAN to dance in this one as well. She sings as well, at least part of a song, which harkens back to her programming in the first movie. So, all right, I'll give him the credit for those sort of nice touches. That, okay, we know that M3GAN dancing was such a big part of why the first one was a big success. Let's have her dance in this one. It comes through naturally, I think, the dance break, but does it really add anything to the story? No. Does it even connect with the story? Not really. And so therein lies the problem. This is a movie that definitely took a swing. I don't think it paid off, but I will say I enjoyed watching this movie. It wasn't a bad time at the movies in any way, shape, or form. However, so many times I was just like, all right, now we're being ridiculous. Like, this wouldn't happen. This is a plot hole. This makes no sense. Over and over and over again with this movie. So from an objective standpoint, the plot, I think, is just full of Swiss cheese holes. But I have to give the movie credit for daring to do something different, even if it didn't completely pay off. I think as a sci-fi action movie, it gets the job done enough. But it's just such a complete departure from that first movie. I'm not sure how fans of that will feel about this. I do always sort of give credit for, giving the fans kind of what they want, even if I don't particularly care for it. This is sort of the opposite. I kind of liked the movie, even though it didn't make a lot of sense, but I don't know if this is what the fans are going to be looking for. So this is a bit of a mixed bag for sure, but for the ability to take that swing, and for the enjoyability factor, I will leave this with a very, very slight positive grade, but still a full letter step down from the original M3GAN, which I gave a B+. M3GAN 2.0 from me gets a C+. But look, I am all for taking a swing for something and not just repeating what you've already done before. So I will give it credit for that. All right, that will do it. Thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It. I will see you next time.